What are some ways that we can make the assessment process more aligned with neurodiversity affirming practices? Hi, I'm Dr. Megan, and I guide people in growing, learning, and cultivating connection and curiosity. Today is our last video looking at assessment, and I want to make sure that we are all on the same page with some strategies for how we can make our assessment processes more neurodiversity affirming. The fact of the matter is the current assessments that exist within our field of behavior analysis and most of education and other psychological arenas does not really incorporate a neurodiversity affirming lens. There are people making resources that can be used, but if you're using the popular traditional assessment methods, they're not necessarily affirming in nature. The first thing we can do is look beyond deficits. I talked about this in a previous video where I focused on strength-based assessment and how we focus on what is a strength or what are the strengths for the learner and how we can build off of that. So that's number one, making sure that we're really looking at what strengths are present instead of focusing on deficits. The second thing we can do is make sure the assessment and programming process is collaborative in nature. That means we're working directly with the learner, understanding their preferences, their values, what it is that they're wanting to learn. And if for some reason it's difficult to initially obtain that information, you might default to creating low stress learning environments and building trust and safety. Generally speaking, most humans are highly valuing those types of things. It's for our survival. So if you, for whatever reason, have difficulty connecting with the learner initially to really get that information, you can hopefully default to low stress learning environments and building trust and safety. The third piece that we want to look at is make sure that the skills we're focusing on are functional and meaningful to the specific learner that you're working with, not functional and meaningful to some other person or the teacher or, some other stakeholder for that child, but for the specific learner that you're working with. The goals should align with their values and preferences and build for them self-advocacy skills, again, navigating the environment, keeping the environment low stress. That is functional and meaningful. When we try to put people in boxes and we're just ticking off a bunch of things from a standardized list, even though in the big picture you might be able to explain how that list is functional and meaningful, we still need to make sure that it's functional and meaningful for that person and that they're actually wanting to address whatever the skills are that we're planning to work on. And last, number 4, certainly not least, making sure we're incorporating the learner's voice. This can be done by looking at nonverbal cues, direct communication, gestures, body movements, etc., but making sure that during the assessment process and once we start programming that we're reading our clients and we're responsive to what they're communicating with us. Even if the communication isn't coming through vocal words, there are a lot of different ways that we can identify whether or not what we're doing is matching their preferences, needs, and wants, and whether or not they're withdrawing assent and we need to back off whatever it is that we're trying to focus on. So keeping that at the forefront of our assessment process and making sure we're not pushing too far or assessing things that are not comfortable for that person. By shifting our assessments to incorporate these 4 items, and there's plenty more, like I said, there's resources out there for neurodiversity affirming practices. These are just a few that I'm sharing based on my own experiences. We can create assessment processes that are more centered on the actual learner that we're providing services to, and we can create more comfortable, safe, and low stress learning environments for our clients. If you like this information and you want to continue to learn more about how to do better in the field of behavior analysis, make sure to give me a follow.